Democratic Republic of Sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into Sportsocracy Tuesday morning and a championship hangover for producer Ronnie. We gotta give him a shout out at the top of the program here. The Tampa Bay Lightning wins the Stanley Cup, blanking the Dallas Stars 2-0 in Game 6. What a return for the Lightning after the way their season ended last year. Remember, they were the number one team in the NHL and they got swept out of the first round of the playoffs. The Redeem team has now paid off.
It's hard for me to remember it when I didn't know it. All you have to do to get mentioned as a hockey team on this show is win the whole damn thing.
Exactly. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't either. Do your job. Next man up. Let's go.
That's right. We are staring week 4 of the NFL season in the face here. We are reaching the quarter mark of the 2020 NFL season. Last night, it was the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Baltimore Ravens 34-20.
To death. Let's be really honest. They beat the piss out of the Baltimore Ravens. It got close for a minute. Oh, are they going to... No, they're not.
Yeah, Kansas City wins last night. Jeremy, during the program today, going to give us his top 10 power rankings in the NFL. And also, we got to get into talking about Doc Rivers being let go, or I guess mutually agreeing.
Oh, that's what everybody does. They all mutually agree because nobody wants to say fired anymore.
Right.
Nobody wants to say we fired him.
Doc Rivers' ineptitude in the playoffs has gotten him fired from another team, and the Los Angeles Clippers are now going to be on the hunt for a replacement. So we'll talk about that as well coming up in the program. At the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Like, share, and follow it. And be sure to also check out the merch store. Link is in the description of this and every video that we put out there every weekday morning at 9 a.m. All right, Jeremy, Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, Patrick Mahomes.
We can't call him Pat.
His mom's not happy that we call him Pat.
Which is dumb. Don't call my son Pat. Well, then you should have named him something that doesn't shorten to Pat.
Right. Well, no, Dad's Pat.
Stop
and
that.
So he's Patrick. So Patrick Mahomes. Can we just start calling him Rick?
No.
Ricky Mahomes.
I'm going to call him P-Rick. P-Rick Mahomes.
He's so good. He's so good. And this offense, the creativity of the offense is fantastic.
I said that on Twitter last night. Andy Reid's playing 4-dimensional chess, and everybody else out here is playing checkers.
Yeah. Eric Fisher caught a touchdown last night. That little shovel pass move that he did on another score was great.
I do want to state for the record, Eric Fisher is the first number 1 pick in the NFL draft to score to catch a receiving touchdown since Keyshawn Johnson.
Wow.
I didn't know that. That was my favorite stat that came out of yesterday. I love stats. And I thought about it and I went, you know what he is?
Yeah.
What shit he is.
Wow. The first number 1 overall pick.
And then I think about Eric Fisher was the number 1 pick in an NFL draft and went, I spent a lot of my life analyzing that draft and it sucked.
It wasn't good for sure, but yeah, I mean, Kansas City, will anybody be able to stop them?
I don't know how you stop them. You know, here's the net of it is that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy do so much pre-snap motion and all of the other things. I don't know how you stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my wife and I watched the game last night, and I'm telling her, watch what he's doing pre-snap. The shovel pass to Anthony Sherman is one of the best design plays I've ever seen.
Yes. Because
you take the scary guy and you motion him out, and everybody's eyes go that way, and then P-Rick just goes, oh, yeah, remember this guy that you forgot was in the play? Touchdown.
Yep.
8-1. It's unbelievable.
It was a very beautiful play. Yeah, And rolling out, Eric Fisher he played that perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell they practiced that 800,000 times.
Well, they're just really good. Here's the thing that if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, here's what should scare you. You just got outgained 517 to 228. That is an ass kicking. Like, to the highest degree, that is an ass kicking. Mm-hmm. And your quarterback looked like a petulant little bitch at the end of the game.
Lamar Jackson had a little Cam Newton in him?
100%. When that last drive where they have to score a touchdown, and I can't remember exactly what happened. I'd have to go back and look at the play-by-play. He comes back to the huddle and called a play with the top of his head. And he was talking to the ground. And then, of course, what happened? Sacked. 4th and a billion. Same thing. Head down. What happened? Incomplete.
Yep.
Turnover, ball game.
Yep.
I have a massive problem with Lamar Jackson, and I always have, and I think I'm always going to. Because here's what he does. He beats bad teams. He's really good at beating the hell out of bad teams. Mm-hmm. In his career, they had a grinded out game with the 49ers last year. He beat the Rams to death. He beat the Texans to death, and he beat New England. And he beat Seattle. He has the best defense in the league, other than Marcus Peters. Jesus Christ. Marcus Peters is the easiest to manipulate cornerback I've ever seen. Because he has the worst eye discipline I've ever seen. Because he wants to make that big play. He plays so far off that he's like, I'll just break on the ball. Yeah, except when you break the wrong direction and Mecole Hardman just runs right by you. And your co-defender looks at you and goes, top third, bro. Top third. That's you. Mm-hmm. That's on you.
Yep. There are some games where Lamar Jackson looks like he can't miss. And then there are other games.
There are no games that he looks like he can't miss because he can't throw. Yeah. Point blank, he can't throw. And the Baltimore Ravens made him do that last night, and he looked beyond average. He was 15 of 28 for 97 yards.
I will agree.
He looked like a bad NFL quarterback last night for the vast majority of it. He's a running back that throws. That's all he is. And if you can contain him and keep him from beating you, or do what Kansas City did, jump out to a lead. Mm-hmm. As soon as I know he's throwing, he is neutered. If he can't run and can't take off, he's neutered. Mm-hmm. And he's the same quarterback I said he was when he came out of college. And if he keeps taking hits like that, he's going to get broke in half. Mm-hmm. I am not sold on Lamar Jackson. I never have been. And what he did last night confirmed it again. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to the sideline, and RG3 takes him to church. I don't know if I'm the only person that saw that. He goes to the sideline. RG3 sits him down and literally takes him to church about you cannot, as a starting quarterback in the NFL, have body language like that because every guy on the team picks up on it. Mm-hmm. You've given up, and they all know it. Mm-hmm. As soon as I saw that, I went, this game's over. There's nothing they can do. And it was.
Well, the only reason that the game was as close as it was because Devin Duvernay returned one for a touchdown.
He's real damn fast.
He is super fast.
And
just that one little chip block on that return just sprung him.
How does every guy in the NFL that comes through the draft process that is just disgustingly fast wind up on the two teams that played last night? Mm-hmm. How the hell does that keep happening? I understand Devin Duvernay can't run a route to save his life. However, he can be real, real fast. And that's probably half the battle at wide receiver.
Right. We were going over this in the lead up to the draft. Didn't he break Tyreek Hill's state record in track or something like that?
He's real fast. He is insanely fast.
Right.
He is Olympic sprinter level fast.
Mm-hmm.
And yet that guy somehow winds up on the Ravens, and Mecole Hardman winds up with the Chiefs. And my Jets have something called a Braxton Berrios.
Well, he was fast in his day.
Braxton Berrios is still fast. He's also 5'4".
Right. That was a big knock.
There is a problem for the Chiefs.
Okay, what is the problem?
The problem is that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is exactly what I told you he was. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say something, and you're going to gristle at it, and I'm not going to care.
Okay.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a fat James White. Prove me wrong.
Wow.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is fat James White. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
He cannot run between the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out can't run between the tackles.
Yep.
He had 20 carries last night for 64 yards. and had 2 runs that were double digits. He was terrible for the vast majority of the night. He's a good receiver, and he can get open and he can catch passes and he can run routes. That's fine. He's fat James White. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
And this is what I tried to tell you in the lead up to the draft. He can verify this. I said this as many times as I can physically get it out of my mouth. He is not a starting running back in the NFL. And people lose their shit about him, and, he caught 1 billion passes. He's not good. They cannot run the ball at all. And I think that's going to be a problem. I'm trying to find ways that the Chiefs don't win a Super Bowl because right now it looks so predictable to me that it's gross.
Well, if that's the only thing you have.
It's all I got because
right.
the defense played well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If that's the only thing you got, I think Chiefs fans will take it.
They can't run a greasy peg up a cat's ass. I mean, that is how they are brutally bad.
But the good thing is they've got offensive minds running that team that can figure out every way not to run the ball. As you said,
and that's the thing is that they can come
pass.
up with creative ways to do it. I mean, you can get the ball in Mecole Hardman's hands or Tyreek Hill's hands or whatever it is that you have to do. But you're going to have to because you do not have a running back that Pat Mahomes can, salting the clock away, can turn around and hand the ball over to, and you can, in 3 downs, get a first down.
Right.
You don't have one.
Right. So.
And and you know what makes him look even worse?
What's that?
Is that Darwin Thompson and Darrell Williams come in, and they have pop. And I understand that Darwin Thompson fumbled on one of the 2 carries he got. But it was the best run they had all night. It was the first time I had seen a running back with pop in the whole game.
Right. I think I don't think it's going to matter all that much.
When you got Pat Mahomes, or P-Rick Mahomes, it covers up a lot of ills.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any way that the Chiefs aren't number 1 on your power rankings?
I can't tell you that yet because we're starting at 10 and working our way up.
I mean, okay, sorry. Spoiler alert. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 1.
He doesn't know that because I haven't told him.
Well, I know for damn sure it's not the Arizona Cardinals. So
you don't know that.
I do know that.
You don't know that.
If that is the case, and we'll find out in just a little bit, you're still hammered. All right, let's do it. Number 10 on the NFL Power Rankings list per Jeremy Greene.
Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, all right. Coming around on the old Seahawks.
Everybody else has them at like 2. So this is not coming around. I still don't think they're as good as everybody else does.
No, okay, but for somebody who said this is a shit team,
I still think it's a shit team.
I think number 10 is pretty respectable
all right,
on that list.
I'm gonna tell the same stat that I told yesterday on the ESPN show. The NFL record for passing touchdowns is how many?
Oh, it's 55?
55. Peyton Manning back with the Broncos. Russell Wilson's on pace for 75 right now. He's on pace to beat that record by an average Sam Darnold season.
Yep.
The greatest season ever by a quarterback. He is a mediocre quarterback added on top of that. That's not sustainable.
It is not.
And they're giving up so many yards passing that I don't understand how you're going to keep winning games. Because eventually somebody's going to figure out, you don't do anything intermediate, ever. It is all deep bombs. And you can play cover 4 on them all day long, and I don't know how they're going to score on you.
Right.
Because they don't grind out well either. So this is not really, Jeremy's come around. No, it's, they're 3-0. I can only put them so low.
They have to, right, they have to be in the top 10. I think this offense is going to be able to outscore most of their opponents this year. I just don't see any way around that. Will Russell Wilson continue to throw 14 touchdowns every 3 weeks? No. It's not going to happen. So I will give you that part. Number 9.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. It's too.
I like how they both got got excited about it for like 0.2 of a second and went, "Ooh,
no,
9?
It's too. It's too low for me, Ronnie." Well, okay. Ronnie says he doesn't see them better than the Seahawks.
The defense has shown up. I'm waiting to see them beat a legitimate team. You've beaten the Panthers. You've beaten the Broncos. All right, now let's beat a big girl team, and then we'll talk about you being a little higher.
Okay.
Till you do that, I don't really want to talk about it.
All right. But Tom Brady coming around, I felt like this past week he felt more comfortable, more in command of the offense. He got Gronk involved, and I know you keep dismissing that, but I think that's a thing because that's his little security blanket, and he wants it to be a thing. The good fortunes, in my opinion, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is that defense is going to only get better as long as they stay healthy and they move forward. And guess who's coming up, Ronnie? We got the Chargers. So we're going to have Justin Herbert getting 3 interceptions this week, and we might kill him.
I like Tampa Bay's defense as a streamer this week a lot.
And then you got the Bears after that.
Who are bad. Big Dick Nick. Don't sleep on Big Dick Nick.
Yeah.
Because he's markedly better than Mitch Trubisky. And I'm telling you right now, you watch Cordero Patterson become a thing. I'm going to will it into existence.
And then after that, it's going to be, as you say, big girl time. It'll be the Battle of the Bays. The Green Bay Packers coming up in 3 weeks. So that'll be a real litmus test for Tampa. Obviously, they will have time to go up those power rankings over the next couple of weeks before we get to the big test, the first big test of the season. Okay, so Tampa Bay at number 9. I like it. We're going, we got Seattle, we got Tampa Bay. Number 8.
Baltimore Ravens. I am way lower on them than everybody else.
Seems a little low.
They played one legitimate team and got the hell beat out of them. I have issues with Lamar Jackson. I don't think you can be a legitimate Super Bowl contender with a quarterback that plays that way.
Yeah.
Because you can't get behind. If you get behind, you're screwed. Because as soon as the team knows he's throwing, they can tee off on him. And they did last night. And I understand, Kansas City has pass rushers. They can get interior pass rush with Chris Jones. They can get it from the outside with Frank Clark. I get that. You looked terrible. I mean, you looked god-awful. There was a time last night that I honestly thought they were going to lose by 40. So, yeah, I can't not punish you for that. That's just not a thing.
Right.
And am I saying, I think the defense is fine, but they have one there's a great big flaw. Now without Earl Thomas, there's not a safety to cover up for Marcus Peters and his poor eye discipline. And I think teams saw that last night and went, that. That's the reason he's been on 3 teams in 5 years.
Do you think this is, or last night was a sign of things to come for the backfield because J.K. Dobbins got the majority of the workload, especially in the fourth quarter? Is that only because they knew they were down? Is that because they just wanted more speed on the field?
I believe so. You say the majority of the work. All right, without looking. Who led this team in carries yesterday?
Who led the team in carries? J.K. Dobbins.
Nope.
No. Was it Ingram?
Nope.
Lamar.
Lamar was 1. Who was 2?
J.K. No.
Mark Ingram. Who was 3?
J.K.
Nope.
No.
Gus Edwards.
Wow.
J.K. Dobbins had 1 fucking carry.
1 carry?
1. He had 4 receptions on 4 targets. He had 5 touches.
Wow. Okay.
It's going to be gross. It ain't going to get better. I think they know J.K.'s better. The problem is that you need Mark Ingram in there because he is a veteran back. And Lamar Jackson's one of those quarterbacks that will get himself killed if you leave him to his own devices.
Why did I feel like he got more run?
Because you kept seeing him on the screen. Because damn near every time he came on the field, he actually touched the ball. He had a Leonard Fournette game. I don't know exactly how many snaps he played, but he played a shit. He played way less than you think he did, and he touched the ball on a very high percentage of them.
I can't remember.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want any running back on this team.
No running back.
No, because they're just going to keep doing this.
Yes.
I'm going to level with you. I'm not sure Gus Edwards is the best running back on this team. I don't know that. I can make a case for it.
All right. The Baltimore Ravens, number 8 on Jeremy's Week 4 power rankings. Number 7.
San Francisco 49ers.
Even though half their team's
Don't
dead.
care. I don't care. I had this as the number 2 team in the league coming into the season. So, Jimmy Garoppolo comes back this week. Kittle probably comes back this week. I'd still believe in this team tremendously. With Raheem Mostert, I don't give a damn who the running back is. That zone running scheme gives them a flexibility that very few other teams have. And I think their good is really good. I considered having them higher. 100% I considered having them higher.
Okay. All right. Obviously, things are going to trend back up as these guys come off of the limited IR and all of that. But they still have lost a lot for the season already.
They have.
And that's what concerns me.
The pass rush is going to hurt, but I think schematically they're so good and they have so much talent. Back 7 of that team is really good. I think people are sleeping on San Francisco because they have that week against the Jets where everybody dies. And they don't realize that, just because they're on IR doesn't mean they can't come back in 3 weeks. So I look at that as a team that you're going to see at the end of the year and go, oh, yeah, guess I boo-booed that one pretty bad.
Right. All right, number 6.
This is where it gets hard for me. LA Rams.
Okay.
I think that team's really freaking good. They were down 28-3 on the road against the Buffalo Bills. Came all the way back, should have won. If it's not for a god-awful pass interference call. I went back and watched that yesterday. Good God, that was a terrible call. If it's not for that, they literally come back from 28-3 down, and we're talking about Josh Allen, how he can't keep a lead.
Yep. All right. What's your favorite piece of that team right now?
Of the Rams?
Of the Rams. What's your favorite thing that they do? Is it the defensive side?
Aaron freaking Donald. The man that's unblockable. The only guy that scares me on that defense, and you still can't block him. He took a ball out of Josh Allen's hand on Sunday that was – it literally looked like me taking one of those little miniature basketballs away from a little kid. Just like mine. That's no. And then he shoved him down like, fuck you.
Okay, I will agree with you there because I think the defense for LA outweighs the offense. But I'm not saying the offense is trash or anything. I'm just
the offense is good.
Yeah,
and here's the thing: you slept on Sean McVay, and now he's making you pay for it because he's really, really good as a coach. He's Andy Reid level creative with his offense, and he has a guy in Aaron Donald that's probably the best player in the NFL.
All right. Getting into the top 5 of the Week 4 power rankings, according to the Jolly Green Giant over here.
The Jolly Green Giant. This is where people are going to tell me I'm out of my freaking mind.
Okay, number 5.
New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
New Orleans Saints.
Can't wait to see where you go from here.
Why?
With the New Orleans Saints. All right.
New Orleans is still really good. Do they still have Sean Payton?
They do.
Okay. Do they still have Drew Brees? Oh, okay. Is Michael Thomas coming back this week?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, New Orleans Saints, 5. What up? You give me the Saints in that division, I'll give you the other 3 teams. And I have no fear whatsoever. I do not give a flying rat's ass. That team at full strength is 5th best team in the league.
Okay.
They very easily could have been. First of all, Alvin Kamara is otherworldly.
Yes.
They could have beaten a team that Secret Time is ahead of them right now in the power rankings. They could have beaten them Sunday night without Michael Thomas.
All right, number 4.
This one's tough for me. I've bounced back and forth on this one. Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's still bouncing.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The
Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right. The Steelers at 3-0 on the season, and number 4.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, just wait. Oh, just wait. There's still one ahead of this that you're going to tell me I am out of me mind.
You think you believe in the defense and the passing game? Because I know you don't believe in the running game.
No, I don't. But I don't think you have to. They have weapons that are just insane. Insane how good they are.
They suffered a minor setback this week with Deontay Johnson getting a concussion.
Ron just guessed my top 3 and he got it 100% right. I thought I was going to be spicy hot take guy, and nope.
Right.
No, I'm not. Apparently, I'm not.
Apparently
this was super predictable. Shit! I was trying to set it up like I was going to put the Cowboys up here. I'm not.
You're
Secret
not.
time, I'm not.
They're not even in the top 10.
No, they're 11. They are my 11.
All right.
And I considered the bottom end of this was not as easy as it sounds like.
Right. So, all right, Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, the comeback is real.
Yeah. The defense was never a problem. Last year, they were a borderline playoff team with a guy named Duck throwing passes for them.
Yep.
Now the line looks good protecting Ben. I understand they started slow against Houston. I think they sleptwalked through it. And then they went, oh, wait, we're way better than this team. Pissed down the road. And they beat the bejesus out of them.
All right, number 3.
Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills at number 3.
I considered having them higher.
Josh Allen is in the MVP talk after another 5-touchdown week.
They have the best defense in the NFL. I understand that the Rams marched up that field. I literally think they thought the game was over. I think that's becoming more and more of a thing because we've just seen too much of it. There's too much of guys resting on their laurels. And I think it's a conditioning thing that you see the opportunity to, okay, now we can relax. Now we're good. Now we just go through the motions, and they do. And you're seeing it over and over and over again. I get it. They let a very high-powered offense come back in a hurry against them. I still look at this team and go, my God, this team's good. And I don't know how you're going to defend John Brown and Stephon Diggs at the same time. There's not a team in the AFC that can defend both of those guys at the same time. Bills.
Number 2.
Green Bay Packers. I can't. Green Bay's fantastic.
Yep.
And the fact that Aaron Rodgers is doing this with no receivers of any repute is insane. But now when Devontae comes back, he's going to have Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, and Aaron Jones. That is a three-headed monster that is second only to the team that is number 1 in the NFL.
Aaron Rodgers is on the fuck you tour.
Oh, 100%. Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers is fuck you good. Like, oh, you didn't believe in me? Well, fuck you. And he's doing it in a way that I couldn't have even imagined.
And handling it like the professional that he is. Did you hear his comments after the game this week when they were asking him about, how the offense is flowing, and he's giving his coach credit, and I think Matt's, getting more into the flow of things, and I don't know if that was an underhanded shot of he realizes we don't need to run the fucking ball so much and put the game in my hands. But, giving Matt LaFleur all the credit for, the play calling and the rhythm of the game. And, he always handles things with the most class of anybody.
I love Aaron Rodgers. And I will tell you there's a wrinkle coming, and I don't know when it's coming, but it is coming. There is a Taysom Hill-esque Jordan Love role coming on that team that is going to be really hard to defend. I've been hearing this since the preseason.
So this Robert Tonyan thing's not real? Like, they're not sustainable?
No, Robert Tonyan is. But that's what Aaron Rodgers does. He takes some guy that looks like me that should be working at a Quiznos and turns him into a friggin' fantasy relevant tight end.
Right.
I still maintain Jay Sternberger's actually good at football. Robert Tonyan, I'm not as convinced on, but
I still haven't seen it with him.
He's a good receiver.
Yeah.
But he's a receiver. He couldn't block me. That's the reason that you don't see him on the field enough.
Right. Because I think the only tight ends I've seen out there so far are DeGuara and
Sternberger's had some catches.
He's been out. He's
had some catches.
All right, and then that leads us to the number 1 team in the NFL entering Week 4. It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
I wanted to be spicy hot take, but I don't have one. I have P-Rick. That's all I need.
Yep.
As long as I got P-Rick, we're good.
Old Patrick. Patrick is...
Nope. No. I'm not calling him Patrick. Nope. That's what you told me to call him. I'm not doing that, so I'm going to call him P-Rick.
You see, Mom? This is what happens when you try to put restraints on Jeremy Greene.
I was that little kid.
Everything that he can in his power.
I was 100% that little kid that you're like, don't touch that shit. And I went, oh, I'm touching that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm certainly touching that shit now. I might not have touched it until you told me not to. No, I'm touching it.
Last year, I think the only real question that we had about the Kansas City Chiefs was the defense. Do you feel like the defense is better this year than it was last year? Or do you think they've kind of held serve on the defensive side of the ball?
Oh, the defense is definitely better. But it's had a year together.
Yep.
This is what I told you in the preseason. When you look at a team like the Chiefs that brought back 20 of 22 starters, and they brought back the 21st starter, it's just he opted out and was replaced by their number 1 pick. Yeah, there's going to be a consistency there that's going to be really hard to beat.
I got to say, I'm proud of you for your first official power ranking, top 10 power ranking, because you did not try to shoehorn the Arizona Cardinals in there.
They were
12. The Dallas Cowboys just outside of the top 10 as well at number 11.
I did just realize Justin Alexander just said something in the comments. I did just realize that if you spell out P-Rick, it turns into prick. I didn't realize that. Didn't know that. Secret time, I didn't know that when I said it originally. I didn't mean it that way at all, but that's funny as hell.
Because he's not.
No.
He's not.
No.
At least we haven't seen it.
Out of Mahomes or?
Out of Mahomes.
Oh, I was talking about Patrick Holt. He's not a prick either.
I mean, I don't know. He's got his moments.
Look, he talks way more shit about me than he does about you, so you go fuck yourself, okay?
This is very true.
If anybody was going to think that, it would be this guy. And I don't.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, you want to do bottom five? Let's do bottom five.
Ooh, bottom five in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Do you want to I feel like here we should start at 32 because there's really not any spicy hot take to 31 and 32.
Yeah. All right. Number 32, New York Jets.
100%. Not close. I actually thought about putting them at 34. Just out of spite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're that bad. We're that much worse than every other team in the league.
I
I left 2 empty spots. 32 and 33 was empty. I put them at 34.
All right, so with the first 3 spots taken in the bottom 5 power ranking, we're going with the New York Giants.
Yes.
At number 30.
Yeah, 31's the Giants. The 2 worst teams in the NFL are the Jets and the Giants. I literally put together a New York football team yesterday. I'm going to put it out on Twitter this afternoon right before the ESPN show. Mm-hmm. I made a New York football team where I took the Jets and the Giants and I combined them. And that team still sucks. Mm-hmm. A lot.
All right, number 30.
This one was the hardest spot in the bottom because I knew the 3 teams I wanted. I just didn't know what order I wanted to put them in.
Okay.
Houston Texans.
Wow.
They're awful.
How?
They're not just awful. They're horror awful.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. They
are god awful.
They are not good. They have been dominated by 2 really good teams to start out the season. So, I mean, maybe we have a skewed view on them. Maybe they're a little better.
Ronnie tried to guess my next 3 in the bottom 3, and he did the exact opposite thing he did the first time.
He didn't get
any of them.
All right, Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson on the 3rd worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not good. Adam Kotson said in the comments, Alabama and Clemson could beat the Jets. I said that yesterday. Uh-huh. I'm not sure you're wrong because we suck that bad. And the excuse of that is, well, NFL teams have NFL players and college teams only have so many. I'm not sure Alabama doesn't currently have more NFL players than the Jets do. We have some dudes that I look at and go, you're not a CFL player, let alone an NFL player.
I know there's issues with this, but can the ownership at some point kick Bill O'Brien out the door?
Well, here's the thing. This is what happens when you hand control of a team to a shitty coach.
Yeah.
This is why you need a GM. To me, NFL teams are a lot like restaurants. And I have a background in the bar business and things like that. And when owners would tell me I don't need a general manager because I do it myself, I would go, yes, you do. I don't give a fuck how good you are. Yes, you do. You need a guy. You need that guy that can keep you from doing dumb things. Because when one guy unilaterally does things, he can destroy teams. And that's what happened to the Houston Texans. Mm-hmm. And now you have no weapons whatsoever. You have a litany of little 5'10", constantly injured receivers that can't get open. And Deshaun Watson, I've started to feel bad for him.
Yes.
Like, he gets hit so often and so hard that I have started to feel bad for him.
Yep. Was he sacked 44 times last year? And that was a fucking improvement.
Ronnie just said the Texans are better than the Eagles and the quarterback's the swing vote. I disagree for the square. The Eagles have way more talent than the Texans.
And they have way more hope for the season.
Yep. Number 29, Philadelphia Eagles. It was damn close. Yeah, it was damn close. Don't get me wrong.
And was the quarterback the swing vote?
No. I don't actually think the Eagles are this bad. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, Doug Peterson's this bad.
Okay.
I would not have had them this low until the last 17 seconds of that game against the Bengals. When you come out and false start on a kick attempt and then just go, screw it, let's punt. Because you believe so little in your defense that you don't think you don't think you can stop a rookie quarterback from getting into field goal range with a weak-legged kicker into the wind. That tells me everything I need to know. You know how bad this team is. You know how bad a shape you're in. They don't have any receivers. The back seven is terrible. They can get pressure off the front four, but the back seven's awful. You have to put them down here.
And it's truly bad when your coach realizes, hey, you know what? A tie here would be better than, you know, like that would be the biggest emotional boost we can have right now. And not having the guts to go for the win. Absolutely not. I like Doug Peterson, and I know people that are close to Doug Peterson, and they have only talked great things about Doug Peterson, and he's won them a championship, and all of this, and I think
everything
Sunday
we've ever heard is he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, and I think Sunday was probably the biggest hit to his reputation that you could possibly put out there. I think that was the biggest boneheaded call of the whole weekend. And that's with Dan Quinn's team blowing 15-point leads again.
And we come to the last in the bottom five.
All right.
Let's see if you can get it right.
If I can get it right, the next worst team in the NFL is the Jaguars. No.
Try again.
Okay. Let's go with the Bengals.
No.
Jesus.
Keep scrolling. You're going the wrong way.
I'm going the wrong way? You got to go all the way to the bottom?
No. Never mind. I thought you had an inverse.
No, I was going up. Trying to. Oh, the New England Patriots.
Nope.
Oh, Cleveland Browns.
Bingo.
Yes, Cleveland Browns. 2-1 Cleveland Browns. All right. Yeah, my bad. I should have known that was coming. Yep.
Cleveland Browns. They've beaten two mediocre teams. As a matter of fact, they've beaten the two of the next four teams in my power rankings. I like Washington better than most people do. I like Washington better than Cleveland, point blank. Ron Rivera has to figure out, hey, give Antonio Gibson the ball. That's good shit happens when you do that, and he's going to figure that out. The Browns have a problem that you can't fix, and that's that you have a smug-ass little quarterback that is going to constantly put you in bad situations. And I think they're going to get unveiled reasonably quickly. I don't think it's going to take that long, because guess who? Here's the fun of the Browns. Who do they play in the next 3 weeks?
No clue.
Cowboys, Colts, Steelers. That's 3 ass kickings.
Yes.
I mean, 3 out behind the barn just getting a piss beat out of you. Ass kickings. Then they play the Bengals at the Bengals again, and I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you the Bengals win that game. Because I saw enough in Cleveland, and you give me an extra month to develop Joe Burrow, that team's going to be better by the end of the year than you think they are. Then they play the Raiders. Then they get this sweet little Texans, Eagles, Jaguars. Season's turning around, right? Then you get the Titans and the Ravens. Browns are bad.
Yep.
They're bad. They're bad. And this is what happens when you this is what happens when you overdraft a quarterback, because now you're stuck with one. And no, I don't give a damn that they're 2-1. I could care less. The Chicago Bears are 5-0. They're within the next 3 teams.
3-0.
Let that be. So what I say?
5-0.
3-0. Yeah, they're 3-0. They're within the next 5 teams, is what I said. That backwards.
Okay.
They're within the next 5 in the bottom 5. They're in the next bottom 5.
Right.
I don't give a damn. You know, I don't in the first month of a season. I don't live by that Bill Parcells adage of "you are what your record says you are."
And yes, Kevin Vick, you should be happy. Any chance that you can have to feel good about your team in this 2020 season, he says he's just happy that the Panthers weren't in the bottom 5.
Secret time? They're not in the next 5 either.
Really?
They're 20. I have them at 20.
Okay.
Because Teddy Bridgewater is efficient. Teddy Bridgewater is the perfect quarterback to be a bridge. Because they have just enough talent, the defense is just young enough that Teddy Bridgewater doesn't put them in bad situations. If you're going to have a bad defense, i.e. your Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, the worst thing you can do is put them in bad shape. Bridgewater doesn't do that. I mean, I understand he's had a turnover game. I get that. What he did against the Chargers is exactly what he's supposed to do. Just keep the chains moving. If you don't keep the chains moving, pin them backwards. And I think they're going to do that a lot.
Yep. And they're officially out of the running. Everybody's out of the running for you, though in the Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, you win a game, you're out on Trevor Lawrence. This is a fucking Hunger Games, bitch. Last team to not win a game, who gets him? And guess who it's going to be? My team.
All right, so we still got 6 teams in contention.
My team couldn't beat off, let alone beat a team. We would screw that up somehow.
Sorry.
I tickled him.
I'm sorry. Don't ever say that again.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I'm gonna.
You made that weird.
Yeah, I
did. Other candidates for those bottom spots are the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Bad.
The Vikings were real close. They were a team I almost put in there.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcons were. Here's my thing about the Falcons. The Falcons are one firing of a coach away from not being that bad.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they're just refusing to do it.
Right. They have given up the most points in the NFL through 3 weeks. And
yeah, they're DMP bad.
But here was the point I was getting ready to make. They've given up 108 points, and their point differential is only 10 or 18. Like, that offense is good. If they can figure out how to stop anybody, they're going to win a few games.
Patrick Holt just asked, when does Washington bench Dwayne Haskins? That depends on what Ron Rivera thinks of your team. If Rivera thinks you can be competitive and thinks that you actually could win the division, which I don't, but I think you're the second best team in the division, then he puts in Alex Smith. Because Alex Smith can do what Teddy Bridgewater is doing in Carolina. Kyle Allen can't. And Kyle Allen's currently the backup, and Kyle Allen doesn't help shit.
I like what Ron Rivera said yesterday. He said he's fully behind his quarterback right now, but there is a line.
There's a line for everybody.
And he said, I'll let you know when I get to the line, but right now I'm not at the line, which tells me that he's close to the line. He's looking at the line.
Well, but because they've been competitive. Yeah, it's one thing. I keep hearing, are the Jets going to bench Sam Darnold? Are you out of your freaking mind?
No.
For Joe Falco? I don't think so. Yeah, I called him Falco on purpose. That was Keanu Reeves' last name in was
the Replacements.
Yeah. Joe Falco is not somebody I'm benching a young, good quarterback for.
All right, the top 10. I think we covered the bottom 10 as well in the NFL. And again, I'm proud of you for not trying to shoehorn in teams that don't belong there.
Well, they will later.
Well,
Denver's in the next 5 too. With Drew Lock, I think they would be markedly better. With Jeff Driscoll, they're not.
Right. And all the injuries that they've had, and losing Von Miller and Jarrell Casey and A.J. Bouye and Cortland Sutton, and God, it's just, they're like the 49ers. They're like the bad version of the 49ers. They just lost a lot of guys off of a mediocre team, which puts them at very, very bad. Do you you don't think there's any chance, though, that they will wind up in that discussion with the Jets and the Giants at the end of the season?
No, because Drew Luck will be back.
Yeah.
As soon as Drew Luck comes back, that team's not bad. That team played with 2 teams that are better than bad.
Did your mind change about anybody in week 4 or in week 3?
Yeah, the Eagles suck. Yeah, I'm officially on the Eagles suck a lot, like a whole lot.
Yeah. You thought there was hope for them, but another horrible week and another horrible performance from Carson Wentz doesn't give me any hope for the future.
I mean, in terms of, is there a team that I think markedly differently about? Not really. Nope. Eagles, that's it.
Nope.
I still feel the same way. I feel the same way about every team in the NFL that I did going into the season, within probably 2 spots on the power rankings.
Okay.
Bills might be better than I thought they were. And I was pretty damn high on them in the first place.
Yeah, you were. I think you had them at an 11-win team, didn't you?
I did.
It's hard to be much better than that. But with Josh Allen playing the way he is, who's to say a 12, 13-win season would be out of the question?
What are you most looking forward to in week 4?
Oh, in week 4?
Because mine's real simple.
Okay. What's yours?
I'm looking forward to Cam Newton and the New England Patriots entering the Thunderdome. Because
Go
they
ahead.
have about a 10-week stretch here where they're going to get the hell beat out of them a lot. Like a whole lot. There's a whole lot of Chiefs, 49ers, Bills, Ravens, Cardinals, Rams in the next 10 weeks. Good. Let the hate flow through you.
The Kansas City Chiefs will beat the holy hell out of them.
Oh, Kansas City's going to beat them to death.
Yeah.
Kansas City will beat them so badly that I will be trolling Patriots fans on Twitter. If you know Patriots fans that you specifically want me to troll, at Jay Greene ESPN on Twitter. Just give me their handle. I'll put it in the stream, and I'll just start poking them at about the 12-minute mark of that game in the first quarter on Sunday.
I think it's going to be, I guess the thing I'm most looking forward to is going to be sort of the bursting of bubbles. You got these annoying fan bases that are so excited. You got the Chicago Bears, who are 3-0, and their fan base is chirping, talking like this is actually something. They're going to go up against the Indianapolis Colts this week, and they're going to lose.
And they're going to get smoky.
You have the Cleveland Browns, who, all Cleveland Browns fans are hanging their hats right now on, we're over 500 for the first time since 2014.
Can I have to state something about the Cleveland Browns, just because you're talking about fan bases.
Yeah.
There are two kinds of Cleveland Browns fans. The realistic ones that remind me a lot of Jets fans, and the most annoying people I've ever met in my life.
Yep.
If you meet somebody and you're like, good God, you're insufferable, just, do you pull for the Cleveland Browns? Because I think you do. And if you don't, you should, because you'd fit in quite nicely.
And if you have a college team, guaranteed it's going to be Ohio State.
100%.
Because for
Ohio
some
State
reason,
fans, they're also the same way.
Exactly.
They're either fantastic or awful.
Exactly.
There's no in between.
Exactly. But I think that's actually the state of Ohio, though.
Yeah.
I've known like half a dozen people from Ohio. 3 of them are horrible, and 3 of them are great people.
Did the 3 that are great get out of Ohio at the first opportunity?
Yes, they did.
Bingo.
Yes, they did.
Every time I fly into Ohio, I'm like, shit, where's the escape hatch here? They should put a fire lane in the state of Ohio just to get you right into Pennsylvania, which ain't much better, but it's better.
Right. But the Cleveland Browns take on the Dallas Cowboys this week. They will be back down to at least a 500 ball club after that game. So I think that's probably the two most, and the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like that's going to be a come to Jesus game. So I think that's probably the thing I'm looking forward to most, is just seeing some of these people who have way too much faith in their teams come back down to earth.
Well, here's the funny thing. I took my original power rankings before the season started. I took them and I wrote them down and I put them in a very safe place. And I have a funny feeling. Through 3 weeks, I feel so good. That's what I said. That's all of that. There's one that I missed, and that's that I had the wrong team in the AFC West is going to make the playoffs. The Raiders are going to make the playoffs, not the Broncos. I also didn't count on Drew Lock getting wrong kid died 2 weeks into the season. So, yeah, I missed that one. Oops. Ronnie, our producer's right. Game of the week's Bills Raiders. I think that's actually going to be a hell of a game.
Yes, I will agree with that as well. The primetime game's not going to be a whole lot to write home about.
Thursday night football, you should take your wife on a date. Or your husband, or whatever you do. Or your dog. If you don't have a spouse, take your dog somewhere.
Because
it'll be the worst shit you've ever seen in your life.
Here are our primetime games this week. You got the Broncos and the Jets on Thursday night.
Woof.
Sunday night, you have what last year would have looked like a pretty decent game with the 49ers and the Eagles.
Woof.
And then on Monday Night Football, you get to watch Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan duke it out, which actually might be entertaining.
It'll be fun because there's going to be 400 yards on passing on both sides.
Yep. It's going to be entertaining, but I expect a 2-score win for the Packers.
Me too.
So it's going to be a fun one. What week is not fun in the NFL?
They're all fun.
Yeah.
It could be all Broncos Jets, and I would still enjoy the shit out of it.
We had big news yesterday, just shortly after the ESPN Asheville show ended. 3 to 5 every weekday afternoon on ESPN Asheville. You can hear it everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene. But this is what happens. Breaking news comes out about 5 minutes after we get off the air every day.
Freaking day. I want to steal 5 minutes from Paul Feinbaum. Like,
yes.
I want to just steal 5 minutes of his show so I can break news, and then he won't talk about it for 2 hours.
And then just wait.
Because it didn't happen in the SEC, so it doesn't matter to him.
Right. Doc Rivers.
God, I hate that show. So
Doc
freaking
Rivers and the LA Clippers have parted ways. He is the winningest coach in Clippers history, which doesn't say a whole lot, but that is part of the storyline.
He's more
here.
winning than Cotton Fitzsimmons and Bill Fitch.
Cotton.
Woohoo!
I had forgotten all about Cotton. That's great. But after another failure in the playoffs, and they're done. They've got to be done. And I don't disagree with the move. I think
I disagree with it vehemently.
you do. Mm-hmm. Because nobody else is on Doc's level that they can get.
All right, I want you to say what you have to say about this.
Okay.
And then I want that camera right here because I have something very pointed to say at the Clippers.
Doc Rivers has not been a great coach in the playoffs. Doc Rivers has become the only coach in history to blow 3-1 leads in the playoffs with 3 different teams. He has been the head of this team for several years now, and they've gotten almost to the promised land. And at some point, you have to say, this is not working. This is not going to work. You are not the guy who's going to get us over that hump and break our curse, basically. Steve Ballmer is a smart businessman, and I feel like he realizes that this is not going to work. And so he's making the move while he's got the pieces in place to try to get that team over the hump. Is Doc Rivers the problem in the playoffs? I don't know. But I do know that he's never gotten this team that far. It took one of the greatest rosters that was ever assembled in the NBA to get him a championship in Boston. Maybe Doc Rivers is just not the good, great playoff coach that we want him to be because he's such a good regular season coach. I don't blame the Clippers for moving on from him. I don't know what you're going to replace him with.
Oh, I do.
But I don't.
I know
blame
exactly
him.
what you're going to replace him with.
Okay.
Which is why. You good?
Yeah, camera.
Okay. All right. The Clippers have been a franchise for 50 years. They've made the playoffs exactly 15 times in 50 years. Mm-hmm. And Doc Rivers was 6 of them. 6! And 3 of them were Jack Ramsey, who's been dead for half a decade. And you fired Doc Rivers because you give him a flawed star and a bench of team gets mine guys, and you say, oh, Doc's the problem. Doc's not the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem. You being the LA Clippers is the problem. You're cursed. I don't know if you built this stadium on an old ancient Indian burial ground or Steve Ballmer pissed off a god in his past life. I don't know what it is. You're cursed. You're cursed, and it wasn't Doc. The bathroom's on fire, and you just closed the refrigerator door because you're the Clippers, and you're the worst organization in sports, and you're going to continue to be the worst organization in sports. And now you're going to hire Tyronn Lue because, LeBron liked him. Big whoop-de-fucking-do. You know who could coach LeBron and Kyrie Irving? I could coach Kyrie and LeBron. That's who could coach that. You're going to give Tyronn Lue a flawed roster and think this is going to go better. Fuck off. This is why you're the Clippers. This is why you're the fucking orphan little brother of LA, and you always will be. That felt good.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
It is the Sportsocracy. Follow us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. Be sure to like, share, and follow. Tell your friends about us. And wow, it's going to be a fun afternoon on the ESPN Asheville show because we'll get more into the Doc Rivers decision by the Los Angeles Clippers. Also, who knows what else we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a lot about the NBA Finals because we are not going to have an ESPN Asheville show tomorrow afternoon.
We're taking a day off so I can get that vein back into my forehead.
That's right. The Major League Baseball playoffs get going. Congratulations once again to the new Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. We will see you again this afternoon on the ESPN Asheville show, everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. 3 to 5, the Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene will be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. You okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm much better now.